younger,
psychologist.
and I was chasing after and thirsty and trying to shoot my shot, and I'm sending flowers and doing all this stuff. And sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't. I said, man, this is a hell of a lot of effort. By the time I got to 30, things were a little bit different. And when I was on a dating app, I was a BLK black. I had flew to Atlanta for 2-hour layover, and then I flew to Chicago and landed. When I flew to Atlanta, 2 hours, turned my phone on real quick, turned it back off, didn't check the app, got to Chicago. The 2 hours I was in Atlanta to the half hours I was in Chicago till I got in my cousin's car when she picked me up from the airport, it was 72 to 74 women that had matched with me or initiated contact with me after 2 hours in 2 different cities. You don't get to dictate anything to me. The other 69 women I can choose. That's dating market. So if there's nothing else I'm going to say tonight that's going to be helpful, if we understand the opposite sex better, we'll move different. In the global dating market, we ain't worried about America, in the global dating market, in terms of desirability, it's white men at the top, it's black men number 2, it's Hispanic men number 3, and Asian men number 4. In terms of desirability, in terms of all the data collecting, in terms of marriages, in terms of sex, access to sex, and the dating app data, black men are second. Asian men are last. Asian women don't want Asian men in mass. On the flip side, depending on the stat, the data, number 1 is either Asian women or white women, depending on the study. And then number 3 is Hispanic women, and then last is black women.
Oh, you just crucified yourself.
It's not crucified, and I'll tell you why. The reason why I'm saying it in that way and breaking it down in that way is a lot of this animosity that we're having with each other, black men and black women in this country. Africans don't see us as a part of their tribe. Jamaicans don't see us as a part of their tribe. There are no other groups that do. So if globally you are the least desired, and even the other black people, even if the other black people come here, they will look at you different. And they'll still treat you a little bit different. And it takes you a while to kind of warm up, and they'll be honest and say, when I first came here, my parents said not to deal with the black Americans. Who else are you going to listen to in terms of whatever it is that's causing you to be at the bottom of the totem pole of desirability? When I was younger and I was chasing after.
Damn. That's cold, yo. That nigga, the new Kevin Samuels. They let that nigga cook. There's a lot going on in that clip. First, can I just address why did they have Shorty juxtaposed to him? He wasn't. Were they having like a one-on-one conversation? Like, why did they have her up there next to him?
I have no idea. Maybe
like they were looking for her reaction. Maybe they were interacting.
Maybe he was answering a question that she brought up because they were all in the boxes down below.
Right. Yeah. He was down there too. Yeah. It almost like they made her the poster child of the clip. Like he was kind of specifically talking to her. Maybe he was. I'm watching the clip out of context. That's a little disingenuous. And then they let him cook because slow.
Yeah,
but he got to where he got to.
Yeah.
And that slow roll kind of helped the build up. That was a great job by him. Damn, but yeah, he got somewhere. That's a rough, it's a rough reality.
Well, I guess when you throw out statistics and things in numbers and data, can you refute it? Because you
could refute it. You could refute it by your own evidence. Like, what do you see in the world? Like, do you see a lot of black women being chose or married? Maybe they don't want to be in relationships. Like,
you believe that?
I'm just asking the question.
I'm not. See, the thing is, when you talk about desirability, I've never really dated outside of my race like that. So
What if this desirability? What if that's based on what we see on TV and what we're seeing in like movies and what we're seeing on like social media, that the European archetype that we just watched Beyonce on a video, and she's a beautiful woman, but she's walking around with blonde hair. Her nose is a little straighter than most women, and her skin is a little lighter. So what if that if that's one of the top black women, if Halle Berry was the top black, if we praise black women that look like white women, you know, and the world, America is telling us that white women are the top of the top, like, you know, is that something that, are we consulted to think that, or is that?
What do you mean, all of us? Or you talking about
Well,
men?
it's skewing your data.
You think men make that decision?
The data is what I'm speaking to, because we're getting this from data. We're not talking about empirical evidence. Like, we could poll all of our friends, and our friends will probably say the same thing, that black women are, you know, tops. You know what I mean? But we're letting dude tell us because he has some numbers that the world is thinking that.
Well, I I think they say, well, this as far as the stats that I've heard, black people are probably the least married in general, generally speaking, men and women. As a community, I don't think we marry as much as other community. So I think that goes into desirability when they use that number. When they use desirability, it's kind of like they kind of Jedi mind tricking you, because it's like nobody wants them.
What does that mean? It's desirability.
Beautiful black women, but
people desire, like, yo, so you'll get like a woman that gets more numbers.
I think,
like I said, a white woman gets more social media numbers.
I think it's based on relationships and marriages, though.
Okay.
I think it has to be based on that, because you can't really. How can you really come up with those numbers? You can't say, like, because I know it's black women still going on dates, still having sex. It has to be based on marriage. And
honestly, those stats, what he said and everything like that, it just sounds like we black men abandoned black women. Because if the black man is choosing women, then why isn't he choosing his own woman?
For the most part, black men do choose black women,
right,
at like a 90-something percentile when they actually marry. It's pretty high. But we got to, I think everybody, one thing that the numbers are, they don't say when they talk about the numbers, is that the ratio between men and women are, you know, imbalanced.
Oh, really?
Like, you know, as far, there's more women than there are men. So
even black, how many the ratio between black men and black women?
I'm not sure, but I'm just gonna say overall, if women outnumber men like almost 2 to 1, there's gonna be a certain level of unmarried women. So that's just gonna happen regardless.
Okay. All right.
Right. So then you take into account that what we do see in our world and day to day, and what we see on social media, it seems like we have I don't know, it seems like we have a bigger gay community than any other race of people. And that takes a lot of dudes off the table. You got men that are incarcerated, and then you have the standards of the women that are in our demographic. Right. And I get it. I hear the data that he's saying, but it makes it sound very bad, but I don't, because if there are just not enough men, and it's not like it's just women out there that don't have, they have these requirements, and just men are just not, you know, getting with them because of their requirements and this and that or whatever, and they're whatever. I don't think it's all that. I think it's the other things that add into that. And bro, black people, we don't get married as, you know, as a community as a whole. But when we do get married, we marry each other. But I just don't think, you know, like, and I don't want to sound like I'm blaming, but I think other races of women, they would like to marry with less requirements and whatever about what they want, what they say they want in a man, right? And I think, let's say, Hispanics and Asians and whites, they know the impact that a couple together will have versus a single person.
Right.
And I believe that you have a group. I'm not saying it's a big group. We try to, and this is another way numbers are skewed, and this the funny shit is that black women won't want to hear this as far as these stats, but then they'll use the stats about education and how much money they make and how educated they are. Those stats work for them,
Yeah.
but these stats won't work for them. They won't believe these, right? But yeah, I was gonna say that there's a small demographic of women that make up the women that say, I lost my train of thought. I lost that thought, bro. All right, just go to you. Fuck it. I'll remember. It'll come back to me.
That's all I got. Yeah, let's see what's going on.
Let's see what she's saying. Yeah. Oh, okay. Hold on. I got my train of thought now. Just hold it. What I was gonna say is that when it seems like this is and you could correct me if I'm wrong. It seems like when our women, when they are successful, and they've become educated, got their money, got everything going for themselves, they're very resistant. They're very apprehensive about getting married or getting into a relationship.
Yeah.
Whereas like other races of women, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? They're gonna they like, yo, black women are like, fuck it, I'll just do it myself because I got money or whatever. You know what I mean? They don't think like, all right, well, I got money, but if I got somebody else, we could do some things together and we could be even better. It has to be the correct partner because they feel like, all right, it has to match this.
But what got them to that level? And to answer my own question is we always have that conversation that, you know, I always bring it up that I feel like black women have been let down the most by black men in their families. Like,
so
their
that makes it
fathers,
right to try to separate and just
it's
feel
not
like
even
do it
separate
yourself forever.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they're just can't rely on anybody else. They just feel like they can't. They saw their mother do it. They saw their grandma do it. They saw the women in their family do it. They saw their sisters do it.
No, they didn't do it. A lot of times they didn't do it at a high level though.
Yeah, no, but it doesn't even matter. But once
you're
conditioned that you like you don't want to rely on somebody or you can't rely on somebody, then it's like, you know, you kind of don't want to rely on what do you think is going to happen now with this red pill community? Like, once a group of people are conditioned to believe something, you know, that's the way they react. Like, that's the way they grow.
It's the different. I think there's a difference between something being propagated and something like you feel like you have been brought up a certain way and they believe based on their living experience that this is the way, right?
Yeah.
But these same women that are doing their thing, that grew up with a mother that was a single mother or a grandmother, they weren't. I would guarantee you, the majority of them weren't doing well. They're the first to go to college. They're the first to buy a crib. They're the first to do this, that, and the third, right? So it really didn't work for their mother or their grandmother. So why wouldn't you do something different? Like my father, you know, shout out to my pops, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, but he never got married. He never got married. So, and he has he has a few kids. He has 6 kids. He has a few different mothers. You know what I mean? So I didn't say, well, my pops did it this way, so yeah, I need to do it this way too.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like you take the good and you leave the bad, or what you deem to be bad, or what you don't want to be. You take the attributes that you want, or you want to strive to be, and then you leave the rest behind.
All right.
Now,
So I got some numbers. Children living in single mother homes. Black children in the 1980s are 48%. White children are 18%. So 48 to 18. Black and white. In the 1990s, 54 to 20 to 22%. In the 2000s, 56 to 22 to 24. There's a large disparity there. We're talking about half.
Yes, but the thing is, other cultures of people understand the impact.
But I'm talking about where we're talking about women. We're talking about Black women, and we're talking about they're being raised in single parent households. That's conditioning them to not want to be married or to not rely on a man because they've been let down by men already.
You always say we live in a capitalist society.
Let's talk about
right?
It. Yeah,
so if the game is capitalism and you say they've been raised a certain way and they're not winning in the game of capitalism, right?
Yeah.
Why would you take on the same things that your past relatives, your mother, your grandfather, your grandmother, your mother, your grandmother, if it really didn't work for them? Now you're evidently you wanted to be different in other ways because let's just say your mother didn't go to college, your grandmother didn't go to college. You did that. Or your mother, your grandmother, they was on Section 8 and all that stuff like that, right? Or they got social services or whatever. And you're not doing that now. Some women, some do follow those footsteps, but we're talking about the group of women that have moved past generations and took it to another level, but now they feel you talking about, all right, they pops wasn't around, so it's like I don't need a man at all. And then the thing is, like,
especially when they already have money, like if they need the money, whatever, but if they have the money and they already have that mentality, like, yo, dude, be letting me down, why I'm gonna, like, you kind of breeding a woman to hate men almost. Like it's almost like,
bro, you don't think these women women are not they're not dating, they're not having sex or anything like that.
They're dating and they're having sex, but they're choosing not to be with a man because they don't see the use of it.
That doesn't sound selfish to you?
Yeah, it was selfish for their pops not to be around.
It happened.
No, dog, it's not. Yo, people evolve. Things evolve. Like, yo, when the elephant first started out, their trunk wasn't that long. It got
people
longer.
Evolved to survive and be better, right?
Exactly.
You're not talking about and they evolve in order to keep their bloodline going, keep that whatever it is to keep the existence going, so they don't go extinct. Right?
Yeah.
And this is the problem where it's like, all right, where when a man does well, he wants to share it with his family. He wants to take care of his mom. He wants to take care of his wife. He wants to take care of his kids. And it seems like even a single man, before he has a wife, if he has a bunch of money or he's successful, he's gonna take care of his family, even if he doesn't have his own family, whether it be his mother, whether it be his grandmother, whatever. But it seems like when a woman is successful, she has to worry about herself. And everything should be for the greater good. If we could just think about something greater than ourselves, these numbers wouldn't be like that.
That sounds great, but if someone grew up in survival mode, if they saw generations of
they can change those numbers though. I think they could
change it, but they don't want to. They grew up in survival mode. They're not thinking about those.
Why
numbers.
You keep giving them excuses though?
Because I'm just trying to be objective about it. I'm just trying to say it's not all them bad, we good.
No, I'm
all
not-
saying
I'm
is
not-
that, yo, something had to come first, the chicken or the egg. I'm trying to get to the bottom of where this thing even started. Because at some point, everybody was together. We were growing. Somewhere it went left. I'm just trying to go to where it went left. That's what I'm trying